How's it, everybody? Sorry, I've been away for my few followers that were wondering what happened. I got really sick, but I'm better now. So um, I was thinking about, I've been telling you guys ghost stories, and when actually um, the channel is called Spirit Sessions. And so I was thinking maybe it would be better if I told you how all this stuff has occurred, um, and this really kind of strange journey that I seem to be on. um, but I tell you, for as confusing it's been a lot of times, it's just it's been really wondrous. Just the things that you think, wow, that would be really cool if that was something that was real. But we chalk things off to coincidence or whatever, imagination, whatever it is you want to kind of define it by. So I figured what I would do is I'm going to tell you guys, and it's going to be a series of what happened. And maybe I can't be the only one that this stuff happens to. And it would be really, God, what an ego if I thought I was the only one, because there are so many people that get stuff like this. And there are lots and lots of people who are psychic and actually, or mediums, and can actually tap in at will. I have never had that ability, but the longer that this stuff goes on, the more that things show themselves, I guess. So I'm going to tell you about this. And actually, too, because it happened, it started so young. This could happen to you. It could be happening to your kids or your grandkids or nieces or nephews. But because of the age when this happened, the adults around me didn't believe me. And why would they? Could have just been a child's imagination. So I'm going to tell you, I'm going to call it The Journey. And this is going to be the first one about it. So when I was about 5 or 6, that's when I really became aware of it. And it was strange, because what would happen is stuff started showing up in front of me. And example, the first time that I really noticed it, we were at my tutu's house, and my mom told me, go tell your brother to wash his hands because dinner's ready. So he was in one of the bedrooms, and so I went down the hallway, which was a very wide hallway, and I went down the hallway, went and told my brother what my mom said, and when I was coming back up the hallway, right in the middle was a magazine. And it wasn't there, 10 seconds ago when I walked down the hallway. So I picked it up and I looked at it, and I didn't know what it was. So then I heard my mom yelling for me. So I put the magazine up on top of this. It was like a counter. There was sort of like, they called it was sort of like a built-in bar in this house that my tutu had. And they didn't use it as a bar, but there was a counter there. And so when my mom called for me, I took this and I put it up on the counter. And then when I came back and she said, what were you doing? And I said, well, I told Michael what you said. And I said, and then I found a magazine that was laying down in the middle of the hallway. And she said, a magazine? And I said, yeah. And she said, well, where'd you get it from? And I said, well, I didn't get it from. It was just laying in the hallway. And so she didn't think anything about it. I said, I put it up on the counter. She said, okay. And then another time, I'm just going to give you a few. Another time, we were at my great aunt's house, and after dinner, they told my brother and I to go watch TV because the adults wanted to talk. Okay, so we go and we sit in my uncle's chair, which was this great big lounge chair. And as I'm sitting there, I'm dangling my arm, and I feel what feels like a gun. And again, I'm really young. I'm maybe 6. And so I look down, and there's 2 guns there. And so I said to my brother, there's guns over here. And so I guess my brother and I were talking, I guess loud enough for the adults to hear us. And I said, there's guns over here, because they were like, what are you guys talking about? And I said, there's guns over here. And then right away they got angry. Don't fool around, don't snoop around, stay out of things that don't concern you. So, okay. So I just, it's a gun. Actually, there were 2. Another time, so there were lots of those. But the main thing was that one time my grandfather was in the Merchant Marines, and he used to travel to, China and stuff a lot. And so he would bring back things. And I still have it. He had a freestanding bar, gorgeous bar, carved out, and it was self-contained. It was it's like a big, huge piece of furniture, like a chest. And it lifts up. And my grandparents used it as an actual bar. And so there's rooms for glasses and all your stuff and bottles and everything. And they used it as a bar. And so, they had, booze, glasses, coasters, napkins, one of those martini shakers, all bar stuff was in the bar. And we were at Tutu's house, and Tutu and my mom said, go into the bar and get something. I don't remember what it was that they wanted me to get. And so I went to the bar, and the thing that they wanted was behind this box. And so I went to move the box, and I saw that the box had a watch in it. And so they were yelling to me, Susie, what are you doing? Bring that in here. So, okay. So I left the watch there, and I went in, and one of them said to me, what were you doing? And I said, oh, I was getting it, but the watch was in the way. And they both looked at each other, and immediately my mom got pissed. And then my Tutu got pissed. And they said, what are you doing snooping around? And I said, I wasn't snooping. I was getting whatever it was they asked me for. And I said, but the watch was right there. And I said, whose watch is that? And so then it was a big thing. It's none of your business. Mind your own business. You can't keep a secret. That's what they said. I didn't know it was a secret, So those kinds of things happen. And they still happen, where something will show up in front of me. And it's something that I have no idea about. It's just all of a sudden there's something there. It will be in my pathway, or it will be, it'll be somewhere. And it's not something that I'm looking for. It's usually not something that I'm even aware of, but there it is. And as it turns out, a lot of these things that I find happen to be tied to a secret. And I overheard, after the watch incident, I overheard my mother and my Tutu saying, don't tell Susie anything. She snoops around and she's sneaky and she can't keep a secret. Don't tell her anything. Which I was, crushed, I guess. Yeah, because I didn't snoop around. I was always doing something that I was told to do, and something would show up. So I didn't snoop around. I wasn't a sneaky kid at all. Um, and I realized that they don't trust me, and they don't believe the things that I'm telling them. So they don't trust me, and they think I'm a liar. But the thing is when they said, don't tell Susie anything, I don't know any adults that tell secrets to little kids. To this day, I mean, I don't know. I don't know anybody who does that. Adults don't do that. So what I learned to do was I learned to keep my mouth shut. And because I didn't know what I wasn't supposed to know, and they didn't trust me, and it devastated me. It just devastated me. And so, but there was no way. I didn't even have the vocabulary to explain what was happening. I didn't know what was happening. Shit was just showing up, But because of that, I kept my mouth shut. And the further along this journey with all this psychic stuff happening, I didn't say anything to anybody for, God, decades probably. And the one thing too, and yeah, I know people do this. I know people have done this in my house. Where like they go use the bathroom and they look in the medicine cabinet or they look underneath the counter. I don't do that. I don't do that to other people's homes. I don't. I don't look into things. Even with my kids growing up, I never went through their drawers or their closets, or I don't even know if they kept diaries or anything like that, because I would not go into their stuff. I wouldn't do that, I don't do that. So that was the start of things starting to happen. And I think it's really important if you have little kids in your life, and especially now, because, the consciousness is being raised in all of us. And, but this is the thing too. So I'm 60, and I was around 5 or 6 when this happened. So I don't know that psychic things or intuition or whatever you want to call it, it wasn't, I don't know that it was not prevalent, but you didn't hear about it before, or I mean, maybe you did if you were into that and you were looking, trying to find groups like that. But yeah, it wasn't something that was kind of common, so I guess I understand how my mom and my tutu would have come to that conclusion. But I just think that today, when a little kid does that or shows you something and they know stuff that they're not supposed to know, don't always assume that they're sneaky kids, that they are up to no good. They're being, nieve, nosy. Some of them are just getting information. But especially at that age, I mean, it's hard enough to decipher what you're getting, right, from the spirit world when you're an adult. So when you think about what little kids get, then, I mean, I don't know. How would they be able to explain that to you? Unless they said, oh, there was a ghost in my room and the ghost told me. or something silly like that, but I guess that's how a little kid would probably describe a visitor. Maybe not a ghost, but, there was somebody in my room or something like that, So I just want everybody to, if a little kid comes and tells you this, give them the benefit of the doubt. Because to be little and to have people not trust you, think that you're a liar, that's just, it's just crushing. So, if anybody wants to make comments in the comment box, I'd be really interested to hear if you had any of these kinds of experiences. Because I know I'm not the only one. So anyway, this was the first one of the Journey series. Not necessarily a ghost story, but a spirit story or a connection to spirit story. So thanks a lot for watching, you guys. I appreciate it. Aloha.